one and all, I'm Alexis, aka The Soft Reader, and I'm here today to do my November TBR. This TBR is 8 books long, so it's pretty ambitious considering I didn't have the best reading month in October, but I notice a pattern that if I have a really bad reading month, typically the next month is much better. So I'm hoping that's going to be the case this month, and I'll be able to read all of these, if not more books. So I'm really excited to go ahead and mention you guys what I'm planning to read in November. The first thing I'm going to mention is I have 3 arcs I'm wanting to read in November. The first is Here We Are Now by Jasmine Warga, which comes out on November the 7th. This is basically about our main character who has spent her entire life not really knowing who her dad was, and then all of a sudden one day on her doorstep appears a very famous rock star who claims to be her dad, and she just decides to go on a cross-country tour with him while he performs to kind of learn who he is, but also to learn who her family is and, you know, her history and stuff like that. I'm really interested to check this one out. It's I think it's not even 300 pages, so that bodes pretty well for being able to get it read. The next one I'm going to mention is Retribution Rails by Erin Bowman. Gosh, I should not have waited this long to read this book. HMH was very kind to send this to me back in May, and I just haven't gotten a chance to read it yet. This is the companion novel to Erin Bowman's Vengeance Road, which you guys know I loved last year. This basically follows 2 people as they just go on the search for the mystery behind a coin. And it sounds really good, really interesting, and I'm super excited to pick it up, and I hope I really like it. The last arc I'm going to mention is actually one that doesn't come out until December. I still would like to read it this month, but it's kind of the last book I think I'll pick up this month in favor of like getting to all of these other ones first. And that is 3 Sides of the Heart, which is an anthology all about love triangles. And it's got some really cool authors that are involved with it. I'm excited to get to this one. Like I said, I'm hoping I'll finish these other books first and I'll be able to start this one, but it's kind of on the back burner since it doesn't come out until December. The next 2 books I'm going to mention were 2 that were on my top 15 to read in 2017 list. The first is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I really am going to make an effort to read this month, or to at least start it this month. I just, you know, I've had this book since it originally was published, and I just haven't picked it up yet, and I said I wanted to do that this year, and I fully intend to sometime this month. This is about 2 competing sorcerers who are part of like a magic circus. Really well beloved, so I'll get to it this month. The next one I'm going to mention is The Bell Jar by Sylvia Plath. This was another one on my top to read list of this year. This is another one that's really short. I think it's like just over 200 pages. So I'm pretty confident I can get this one read once I start down and read it, and I'm just really interested to see what this is about, since this is obviously Sylvia Plath's only novel, and it's also very autobiographical for her life, so I'm really interested to get to this one. The next 3 I'm going to mention are all sequels. These are all sequels I just really want to get to this month. The first one I'm going to mention is Ignite Me by Tahereh Mafi. This is the 3rd and final book in the original Shadow Me trilogy. I have this one on audiobook, and I'm planning to listen to it on audiobook. That's how I read the first 2 books. And I'm intrigued to see how the series ends, but I know people say this is their favorite book. So yeah, so I actually am planning to finish this one pretty early in the month. The next one I'm going to mention is The House of Hades by Rick Riordan. This is the 4th book in the Heroes of Olympus series. It was one of my goals this year. I wanted to read Percy Jackson and Heroes of Olympus, so if I read this one in November and then read the final book in December, I will complete that. These are pretty chunky, and again, I haven't really loved this series overall, but the book before this one, The Mark of Athena, ends on like a huge cliffhanger, so I'm really excited to see where this one picks up and like how it moves the story forward. And the last book I'm going to mention is Siege and Storm by Leigh Bardugo. I also really wanted to read the Grisha trilogy this year, so again, if I read this one in November and then read Ruin and Rising in December, I'm still set for that. So this is obviously the middle book in her original Shadow and Bone trilogy, and yeah, I really love Shadow and Bone. It was one of my favorite books in June, so I'm really excited to get to this one and to pick it up, and I hope it doesn't disappoint me because I've heard very mixed things about the last 2 books in the series. Alrighty guys, so those are all the things I'm planning to read in November. If you have any very strong thoughts on which one of these I should read first, I would love to know. Or if you just have any strong thoughts about these books in general, I'd also love to know. I'd also really love to hear what you guys are planning to read in the month of November, and I'll see you guys soon with another video. Bye!